Hi there. In my last video, I spoke about how the plan you have is as important as the goal you're trying to achieve. You might have set very ambitious and lofty goals for yourself, which is great. But then you must also have thought through the plan you're currently on, how you're going to achieve whatever you've set for yourself. If you don't do this, then your goals might just remain lofty dreams and fantasies, etc. So if you haven't seen this video, I recommend you check my last video. Today I want to talk about something that has become more obvious in my life. It's this distinction between responsibility and accountability. I think it's really important to know the difference and be able to apply it to your life, my life, in such a way that not only become more efficient, not only do you develop your leadership, it just also makes things a lot easier because now efforts are distributed among whoever is involved, or if it's just for yourself, you can better think through how you're achieving your goals. Now that's a mouthful. Let me tie that home or bring that home. Responsibility is majorly task-oriented. So there's something to be done. Who is responsible for doing this thing? At the same time, for anything we're doing, there's usually a desired outcome. There's something we are trying to achieve by doing this thing. Now, whoever is accountable is the one in charge of those outcomes. That is the person that is majorly focused or concerned or to be held. I don't want to use the word responsible, but whoever is thinking about the outcomes and whoever we need to speak to about the outcomes is the one that is accountable. I can give you an example in business, for example. Wow. I can give you an example in business, for example. Well, we're cutting that out. Okay, I can give you an example. In business, if the CEO wanted to generate more revenue from advertisement, that's an outcome. We want to generate more revenue from advertisement. What are the things we need to do to generate that revenue? Probably we need to design the creatives that are going to go in the ads. We need to create the campaigns that will be for the sponsored products, etc. Now, these are tasks to be done. Now, the CEO is not going to start designing the ads or creating campaigns. That's why he has hired the media team, or he has hired the campaign managers. So the campaign managers are responsible for creating the ads, all the tasks that need to be done to get the campaign up and running so that the outcome of creating more revenue from advertisements can be achieved. But who is accountable for that to the CEO? Maybe the head of media, maybe the person in charge of the team lead of the campaign managers. He is accountable. Now keep in mind, that team lead as well wouldn't create the flyers. He wouldn't create the campaigns, etc. He wouldn't manage or monitor the campaigns. You get the point. So to the CEO, there are two people. There are people who are responsible and there's somebody who is accountable. Now, the CEO is mostly concerned with who is accountable to this. Who am I going to ask if this revenue didn't come as we expected it to come? He'll definitely ask the team lead or the head of media. But then who is responsible for that? It was the campaign managers. Maybe they failed to take a campaign live at the time they were supposed to do that. Or maybe the campaign was overspending and they failed to monitor that and stop the campaign, So I think that kind of clearly delineates between responsibility and accountability. Now, the key thing and why this has been something I've been thinking about a lot more these days is that for leadership, you must think in terms of accountability. For efficiency, you must think in terms of responsibility. Now, when the team lead is reporting to the CEO, he can't go to the CEO and be saying, hey, because the campaign managers didn't really create the campaigns at the time they were supposed to create it, that is why we were not able to meet our goal. He'll look very irresponsible, and that's not right. He's not going to do that. But the fact that he was not the one who actively created or managed those campaigns does not exclude him from the fact that he is accountable for the outcomes. Therefore, he, as the one who is accountable, needs to demonstrate leadership to make sure that the campaign managers are managing their campaigns as at when due. So you see how this responsibility and accountability intertwines. It's linked, but it's still separate. So in your personal life, you might be responsible for certain things. You might be responsible to read a book a day. You might be responsible to pray. You might be responsible for reaching out to your friends and keeping the communication lines open. Those are tasks and you're responsible for them. At the same time, you are accountable for the outcomes. If your friendship with someone is not going as it should go anymore and you guys are not on talking terms, you're accountable for that friendship in the context of that relationship. You're accountable because the outcomes, you're not getting the outcomes you wanted. However, it is because there were responsibilities, there were tasks that were supposed to be done that you were not doing. You were not reaching out. You were not responding to their text, whatever. And so in personal relationships, it's a little bit less obvious. Now responsibility and accountability are kind of intertwined, and it's less obvious what the difference is. But when we now begin to think about teams, about organizations, etc., it becomes clearer. And being able to understand this, that okay, if I wanted to be very efficient, I needed to focus on my responsibilities. If I wanted to be more in a leadership role, or if I wanted to be viewed more as a leader, I must think in terms of my outcomes. What am I accountable for? So this is something that's kind of marinated a lot in my mind and is still marinating in my mind. And I think I'll get more insights and more examples from it in the next few days. But this is something I wanted to share for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.